So let's talk about how to set up the Grace Cutie frame. I'm Megan with Rocky Mountain Sewing and Vacuum, and this frame has been ever so popular since we started carrying it. And we've had a lot of questions on how do I set this up, how do I make sure it works perfectly for my machine. So we thought we'd do a breakdown video to kind of help you out with that. So on this video, I'm not going to show you completely how to build the frame. What's nice is that the Cutie frame does come with really good directions on how to do that. So what I'm going to do is when we get to the point that we've put our machine on. So you'll notice on the machine, or on the carriage here, there's two different sections of carriage. There's this bottom piece here, and then there's this flatbed. So the flatbed part is made for your home sewing machine. However, if you have something like the Grace 16X, or the 16X Elite, or the 19X or 19X Elite, those machines can actually fit onto this Cutie frame. You just take that flat plate off and move it. Right now we've got our Baby Lock Jazz 2 on there, which is a very popular combination. And so therefore we're going to set up the frame for that Baby Lock Jazz 2. So at this point we've already got everything set up. One of the first things you need to do is you're going to make sure that you adjust the height of the actual bar of the frame. So right here, there's actually little adjusters that are about right there, and you can set those to be at the right height so that they come up and line up with your machine here. You want to make sure that the backing bar does not end up sitting on the machine, so you want it to be just a little bit higher, about a finger's width apart. Ours is already set up for that, so I'm going to go ahead and take my backing bar and put it in. Now on your backing bar, there's these little notches that are in here. And with those little notches, you want to make sure those are facing down. And it will fit in like a diamond, not straight. So we're going to put that between the thread of the machine. And you're going to line it up right there, right there. So now my backing bar is in place. I can see I've got about a finger underneath there, so it's at the right height. And you'll notice one thing that I really liked about this frame when I've put a couple together is that they are coded by letters. So you can make sure everything is sitting at the right height. It could be E, it could be A, whatever machine you've got, you just set it up to be that height. Then to lock this into place, you just kind of flip these over and push them in. So flip and push, and flip and push. And you want to push until you hear it click a little bit, and then you're good. So that's going to be your height adjustment. Now, when you move your machine forward, you want to make sure that that machine fits in the frame. So at the front of the machine, there's actually numbers that show up on your frame. So those numbers are right there, and what those numbers do is it allows you to be able to accommodate the whole width of your machine. So if you've got a 7-inch throat space, you'd probably have it all the way up to number 8, all the way towards me. If you have like the Grace 19X Elite on the machine with 19 inches of throat space, you want to extend it all the way out probably to 1. So with those, it's very easy to do. You just flip a little thing up, and then you push it, and then you lock it into place as long as both of the sides are at the right number. And that's all you need to do to set that up. With that, you're pretty much ready to go. When you load a quilt, that is going to be the other big question, because everybody gets excited, gets to this point, and then goes, okay, what do I do? So when you load a quilt, you do have several of these clips that show up. So there's 2 big ones that look like this, and they've got these ridges. 3 little ones, and then 2 itty bitty ones. So the 2 biggest ones are going to go on the front of your frame. So they're going to clip down on both sides of the front of the quilt. The middle ones are going to clip onto the back here. And you'll notice when I clip them on these clips, there is the Grace Cutie and the Grace Company on there. You want to make sure that these are legible from where you're going to be quilting. So you want to make sure the icons are facing forward, because after I've got my quilt in and everything, these little clips can flip up and clip into place there, which then tucks any excess fabric out of the way of the machine or where my hands need to be working to actually do the free motion quilting, and gets everything out of the way. The last 2 clips are going to be these itty bitty ones, and these ones are going to fit on the side of your machine so that any excess overhanging edges can get tucked out of the way. So after all of that is set up, you're pretty much ready to go. If you've got the gray Sure Stitch Elite, I would go ahead and install that before you put a quilt on there. We'll have a different video about how to do that. But other than that, once you get it all quilted, or your quilt all racked and ready to go, you're on your way quilting. I hope this tutorial video helped you at least a little bit, and don't forget, you can always pause me if I'm going too fast. So feel free to do that. I won't be offended, I promise. So we'll see you on the next tutorial video. Thank you for joining me.